What's up, good people? This is your boy Chips. You watch my channel Chipz-N-Stix, and today's sticks are on the Nintendo Switch. I'm gonna give you guys an honest review about Super Mario Odyssey today, and I'm going to let you know if this game is worth picking up, if you should wait for a price drop, all of that good stuff. So let me get right into it, starting off with the gameplay. It's a really fun game, and I enjoyed playing it. I spent quite some time with this game, even after it came out, just to really get the full feel of it. And I think that's where a lot of people will find if they really enjoy it or not. So starting off with the gameplay, the whole premise of the game is that Bowser kidnaps Princess Peach, right? Same story for like the last 20 years, but this time he's trying to marry her. So he also steals or kidnaps another sentient being, if, lack of a better term, named Tiara. It's, the little crown that, girls wear on their head or whatever you call it. Anyway, Mario has to rescue Princess Peach, and he teams up with Tiara's brother named Cappy. And this is where, Mario's new red cap comes in, because now you can actually use it as a weapon, and in a few different ways. It's pretty useful. So there's a lot of things to collect in this game. There's way too many power moons to collect, and that's also kind of like the downside of this game, is that it's overwhelming in a sense. You go through like 12 different levels collecting power moons, and then there's also these purple coins that you have to collect in order to buy certain things from the store that are like exclusive, that you can't get with the regular coins that you normally collect. And to a point, it gets fun. If you're just gonna like play the game for what it is and not worry about collecting anything, then you're gonna have a great time with the game. It's one of those where if you don't care about it, or if you don't care about completing it like 100%, then you're gonna have fun with this. There's also little mini games that you can play that keeps the game fun. There's also leaderboards with some of them, and the best one to my experience is the jump rope contest in Metro Kingdom, aka New Donk City. There's also a volleyball beach mini game in one of the other kingdoms, and there's also Koopa races, I think, throughout all of them, which are pretty fun. You also get power moons from coming in first place with those. And there's also one little gambling, like slot machine kind of game that gives you one power moon, and then after that it's just for the fun of it. They keep it interesting because there's a bunch of different ways to kind of interact with the kingdom. For instance, there's a funny little quiz that you get from a Sphinx that starts off in the Sand Kingdom, and I think you can find them somewhere throughout the other worlds, and he gives you these funny little quizzes. And that's pretty much it in terms of the gameplay. Let me talk about the controls really quick. It's easy to pick up, right, because this game is geared towards kids, so it's not supposed to be hard. I don't really think there's any need for any specific button configurations. Even with some of the tricks that Mario can do with jumping, it's easy to pull off, but then there's also sometimes a problem doing them in sequence. There have been little videos on Instagram where people doing these Koopa races and completely smashing the record by pulling off these tricks with the jumps and a bunch of different things, and using Cappy in a way too to kind of like boost his effect or whatever. It's pretty cool, the things that you can do with this game. There's also a little Photoshop mode that basically adds on different filters. You can change the angles and stuff like that. That's something that I wish would be in every game, instead of just using the regular picture snap and video capture that's on the Switch. It'll be cool to have that little feature, on every game, I guess. But going back to the controls, there's a 2-player option where someone can control Cappy. Now this one, it's not crazy hard, but it's a little difficult because the Switch Joy-Cons are small, and for us grown people, using that Joy-Con, it can be a bit tough, right? It's a little difficult because the joystick and the buttons are all close together, and then the shoulder buttons are a little bit too small, but you know, it is what it is. When you use Cappy in 2-player mode, you can do a sort of divide and conquer kind of strategy, even though sometimes it's not needed. It just adds that, you know, a little bit of strategy element to it and makes it, you know, even more fun. Whoever's controlling Cappy, they can cover a lot of ground once you throw him out, and he can move all which ways and hit enemies for you and clear a path. Or sometimes there's little things that you can pick up and bring back to Mario. For instance, there's this little flower in one of the levels that gives you like a turbo boost whenever you run. You can pick that up, bring it back to him, and then he just takes off flying, which is also kind of fun. But that's it for the controls, right? Nothing too hard, nothing too complicated. But what I will say, one of the downsides to it is that sometimes when you're doing the trick jumps and you press the shoulder buttons, sometimes it doesn't quite register. I don't know if that's specific to my Joy-Cons. I mean, I don't really like abuse it that much, and I've hardly got a chance to play anything that's really demanding of my Joy-Cons, but sometimes it can be a little bit annoying. And in single player mode, when you're using Cappy, there's also motion controls. So the way to do the different motions are easy to learn, but the problem is actually doing it sometimes. Now, there's a motion whenever you throw Cappy. You can also do a homing attack, and then you have to like quickly move the Joy-Con in one direction. And I think you can do it multiple times within the set time limit that Cappy is thrown out. But there's also a spin move that you can do with Cappy, and that one is a little bit hard to pull off. It looks easy from the tutorials, but it's kind of hard to pull off when you're in the middle of, I don't know, let's say fighting a few Goombas and you want to do that particular move. It may not come out. You have to be 100% on point when doing the motion controls. And even with that, you can throw Cappy to get coins and things in out of reach areas, which is good and bad, because if you don't like the motion controls, there's no other way for you to get it except maybe dying. Because some of these coins are placed way below the edge of the map, and you have to throw Cappy downwards to get those coins. I haven't figured out a way to do it with the regular controller without using the motion controls, so if there is, leave a comment and let me know and then I'll try it. I found myself, even when I was using the Joy-Con grips, the motion controls are still active, but it doesn't quite feel normal, I guess. What I suggest is that you take some time and kind of master using the Joy-Cons with the motion controls, because then it'll work out pretty well for you. So the other thing about this game is that, again, since it's geared towards kids, it's not supposed to be hard. The bosses aren't that hard either, and I died a few times because I was rushing through everything. I just didn't really care to keep fighting the bosses, and that was the thing, because they're not hard. It's not that interesting to fight them. Sometimes it may be a little funny, but you know, like haha funny, not funny as if something's weird going on. It's not hard at all. You can just take a minute when fighting them and, you know, learn their patterns and then beat them easily. Sometimes you'll beat them without losing any health. You might get hit once or twice, but try not to get hit any more than that, because then you'll die. But the good thing about the game is that it's no longer on a life system. You basically lose about 10 coins whenever you die. I haven't really kept track of it, but that's basically how the system works now. So you have to basically have a good amount of coins, you know, if you're gonna keep dying and keep trying to play the game. I wish that the boss battles were a little bit more difficult, only because I remember playing Super Mario 64 and having a little bit of a hard time with it. Maybe it's because I was a kid at the time, but you know, a little bit of a challenge, you know, wouldn't hurt. However, you can go back and fight the different bosses in the Mushroom Kingdom, which would be a little bit harder. Again, it's nothing too complicated. It's nothing that, you know, without taking your time, you can't beat it. The story is the same. Nothing really changes except that Bowser is trying to get married to Princess Peach. And the plus side of the game as well is that you can play as Yoshi, which is great. That's another way to collect some power moons in the Mushroom Kingdom. You gotta use Yoshi. Lastly, the graphics. It's an animation game, so it's nothing too crazy. It's 900p when docked and 720 in handheld mode. But the levels do look nice, and some of them are pretty, some of them are a little too bright for my preference. But it's, you know, it is what it is. So Should you get this game? Yeah. Was it deserving of a 10 out of 10 that a lot of these gaming magazines gave it, and even some YouTubers gave it? No. It definitely wasn't worth the nomination for Game of the Year. So my personal score for this one would be an 8 out of 10. If you agree, let me know. If you disagree, also let me know. I want to hear what you think. So thanks for watching. Just hit that like button, subscribe. I'm going to be doing some more reviews on different games, some tips and tricks. So stay tuned. Thanks for watching. Peace.